Hello, and welcome to the Employee Safety Podcast from Alert Media, where you'll hear advice from experienced safety leaders on how to protect your people and business. I'm Peter Steinfeld. Today, I'm speaking with Louis Duran, Director of Corporate Safety and Security at TaylorMade Golf, a global manufacturer of golf equipment and apparel. Louis has over 20 years of leadership experience as a naval officer, an NCIS Special Agent, and Director of Corporate Security for private organizations. In this episode, Louis discusses his thoughts on scaling safety and security for an international brand, including areas of opportunity that many organizations often overlook. Let's listen in. Hey, Louis, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Peter.
Absolutely. Well, you've got a really interesting professional background, so maybe we could start there. If you would, just maybe share a little bit about your past activities and how they led to your current role at TaylorMade.
Sure, no problem. I'm a 20-year Navy vet. In that 20 years, I did 8 years in active duty, another 12 or 13 in the reserves. From there, I jumped into being a reserve police officer with the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico. From there, I jumped into being a federal agent with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. And for about the past 12 years, I've been in the private sector providing either support in investigation, security, safety in those areas.
What do you think is the biggest thing you've brought over from your government-based work into the private sector that's helped you out?
I can still remember when I was just out of OCS, which is Officer Candidate School, I was talking to my friends and we would still do our runs and whatever else it was. And the one thing I told myself when I joined the Navy is I want to take care of my people. And I'll admit, I wasn't the greatest junior officer in the world. I was a little selfish. I learned a lot of lessons the very hard way, just because just experience, maturity. But that one thing or that one mantra, the one idea that stuck with me is taking care of my people. And from my first warship to my second warship to where I ended up in the reserves and the commands I was with is, hey, taking care of people, you got to get to know them. You got to learn about them. You got to care about them. You got to be genuine. And that's something I brought over to, I guess, the private side of my private sectors is that, hey, even if it takes another hour, 2 hours, whatever it is to get to know someone so that one, that they know that you care about them, but two, that you're investing in them. That's the biggest thing I've learned is that, hey, if you show that you're genuine and you believe in them, it's amazing what results you get out of them instead of like, hey, we got to get 1 through 4 done. No. Tell me what you want to get done. And they'll give me a list of 6, 7, 8. It's like, all right, let's get to it. I believe in opening them up to what they want to accomplish. Mind you, there's business ends that need to be met as well. But if you incorporate what they want to get done into that, it's amazing what people will do for you.
Ultimately, it's all about people. And if you know what motivates them, then they will change the world for you. But if you just try to force things on them, it makes it difficult.
Yep. Doesn't work that well that way.
That's right. Well, speaking about people, you got a new group now, TaylorMade, global brand. How many locations and people does your team oversee?
TaylorMade's got about 3,000 employees worldwide. We got 3 locations here in the United States, Indiana, South Carolina, here in California. We're in Canada. We're down in Mexico, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, UK, and Australia. So we have a wide scope to protect. And like I said, with all those locations, we're about 3,000 personnel. We just put a new ball plant in Korea. We're putting some new plants over in Japan. We're expanding our warehouses here in the United States. So everything's growing. And then also the Sunday Red line that just came out in May that supports Tiger Woods. That whole entire thing has taught me a whole new, we'll say, a new line of challenges or new things I need to learn about in the retail space.
So it sounds like you've got a really unique set of challenges just being so distributed like that. What safety or security challenges in general are top of mind for you right now?
Here in California, they put a new law, SB 553, out, which deals with workplace violence. And the beginning part of the year, I was learning a lot about it, reading it, taking a couple of courses of instruction on it, attending some seminars on that as well. So drafting out the policies, working with internal business partners, our legal department, our HR department, everyone's involved in this because it affects the entire company here in California, which I've kind of adopted that it's going to go across to Indiana, across to South Carolina, and overseas as well, because I'm not going to have different policies for each location. This will be our big umbrella. We'll say it's our operational strategy for the company when it comes to workplace violence. And we're just going to do it the same way, every time at each location. That's one of the bigger challenges, getting people to acknowledge that, hey, there is this thing called workplace violence. And it's one of the things I think most people think about a little bit or a little bit scared to admit at times. So I'm trying to bring that to the forefront. I kind of classify how the Navy taught us a long time ago that we used to think about the symmetrical threat, meaning that certain countries out there were our enemies or are our enemies and we have to deal with them. where we learned that the asymmetrical threat is what really is what we're encountering now with the different parts of the world that the military part, or when I was serving, that we had to contend with. So I look at that the same way here with TaylorMade, is that the symmetrical threat is like, okay, someone outside coming and stealing our stuff, someone outside coming and hurting someone here. We have devices or say technology, access control cameras, guards that will say combat that symmetrical threat. I'm looking at the asymmetrical threat, meaning, hey, the workplace violence, it's usually the person within the company or that's associated with the company or was associated with the company that causes a problem for us now. Looking at that, trying to build up internal communications with everyone inside to get them aware of, hey, these are indicators of someone that could possibly do something wrong or is having issues. And hey, how do we as TaylorMade help support that individual? That's where I'm looking at where the threat's coming now from is one, learning about each team member here and then providing and hopefully getting them the support needed when, I guess, in their moment of crisis or if they ask for help.
Yeah, it seems like that's a really tough thing to tackle because when you think about external threats, it's hard for those people, technically speaking, to get in through the guns, gates, and guards. Whereas when you have people internally, they've already broken down that barrier. They have access to things. They have our trust, which is the biggest thing. So how do you identify and then deal with people that you've already given your trust? I'm not asking you for an answer here. It's just a very interesting challenge.
Oh, it is. It's funny because there was in a previous position I had, every company does its backgrounds. And this is one of the challenges I think that companies have is they do that initial background, but then they never follow up later on down the road. And mind you, I'm not looking for minor offenses. We're looking for major offenses. And with this other company, we walked into or found out someone had a very heinous felony crime conviction on him, but he lied on his resume, he lied on his background, lied throughout his 7 years with the company. And just by dumb luck, and another employee saw a news article with this guy's name in it, which unfolded into this investigation, which unfolded into, hey, maybe we need to do a little bit more better or do better on the background investigations or that 5 year, 10-year mark, 15-year mark. And again, not looking for tickets or anything like that. We're looking for things that could push someone to want to take advantage of the company or bring a bad light upon the company that they're working for at that time.
Well, we talked about protecting the people that work at one of your locations, but since COVID, things have changed a lot in the working world. So how does your team provide support to remote employees or just anyone working abroad?
When it comes abroad right now, we have personnel identified at each location. And this is one of the things I want to really improve upon is the communications between here at headquarters to what's going on overseas. The world's a little topsy-turvy, a little turbulent. We don't know what's exactly happening in each location. Just to give you an example, just this past week in our UK location, our personnel were, I can't say in close proximity, but in proximity to the riots. And it's one of those things where, you don't think it's going to affect your personnel or is affecting your company or your business there. And it had a little bit of a, we'll say it blurred into us a little bit where people are a little worried about taking the trains or driving into work because they're going through certain locations that the riots had occurred or were going to occur in. So not knowing, we'll call it the geography of, other than London major cities and figuring out where these occurrences were happening, we got pretty much a straightforward look at from our person out there saying that, hey, they're a little concerned about this. And what are we going to do about it? And it's like, all right, well, hey, maybe we cut back the hours for the next couple of weeks, meaning that, hey, if you don't need to be in the office, it's okay to work from home. But if you do need in the office, all right, take these precautions. Make sure that if you are driving or using public transportation, that, hey, you're always, the vehicle's got enough gas in it. Maintenance has been done on it, tires, spare tire, all that, because you don't want to get stuck somewhere where you can't get out of immediately. And then also find alternate routes while you're going to and from work. And then if you're taking public transportation, find more than just one, the different bus lines that are there. If there's cabs, Ubers, you're doing that. Or if you're taking the trains, what different train stations you can go to. You may have to walk a little bit more, but these might be having that backup plan is there. And so these are some of the things that we threw out from here to them. And then also taking their input about what they were encountering to put up a plan there. I mean, we have assets over in Asia. The Alert Media helped us out a couple of weeks ago where some of our executives were going out there and no, it was in Korea that the medical students were, I guess, demonstrating. Mind you, they weren't anywhere near our locations, but it's just one of those things where I made sure that my CEO and the CFO know, I'm like, hey, there are demonstrations. They're not anywhere near you, but they could bleed into you guys. Just be aware. Those are the things that I'm looking at for overseas, just getting the communications. And then from there, having the communications come back to us so that we are aware of what's happening so that business continuity plans start going into place, personnel plans are coming into place. Because again, TaylorMade is very, we'll say, people or team member interested. They want to make sure everyone's safe, make sure everyone's having a good time at work. But work also needs to be done, but at the same time, not at the jeopardy of the individual.
I love how communication is such a central part of your overall response because, to your point, the stories that you shared, you don't know what's going on in the world. And then
No.
something happens. The best way to address it is to communicate with those individuals, tell them what's going on, give them options. And if you do those things early, then generally speaking, you're going to have better outcomes.
Communication is the biggest thing, trying to figure out the plan before it happens, or once we'll see the tremors of it. All right, now how are we going to react? Because without those communications or initial plans, you're going to be caught flat-footed, and that's the worst thing you want to do. At least you want to have a direction you're going in order to make sure things go, or it just makes it a lot better process of handling, say, possible scenarios or incidents, or better yet, showing that you care about your personnel as well. As like, hey, we see these things in the news, we see these things in the public. These are the things we're taking or putting into place to help you out.
And you guys have a bit of a different challenge than the quote average organization out there because TaylorMade works with a lot of high profile players and you're involved in a lot of high profile golfing events around the world. So, how do you go about helping protect your players beyond what the local security team does for them, maybe, for example?
Right now, I'm developing that. It's been more of when our VIPs come into California, Carlsbad, or Florida, we'll send our team out there to support whatever event it is, either photo shoot, video shoot. If they're doing their own private tournaments, whatever else it is, we have a truck here that goes out and has a big TaylorMade stuff on it, logo, and hey, we're doing all the golf things. But one of the things that TaylorMade hasn't done well, or that I'm trying to get us into, is actually looking at the security issues for each individual, from Tiger Woods to Scheffler to Rory to our other golfers, doing the analytics on them, meaning the analysis on them. Like I said, no one hates golf. No one really hates golfers. Some of them have said things where they're a little more flamboyant. They cause a little controversy. But when I'm looking at the social media sites, digging into them a little bit more to see if there is a possible threat to them, and then making them aware of it, digging into the person themselves and asking them questions about, all right, where do you feel threatened at? Where do you feel that the threat could be? Or what issues do you have? Or have you had anyone, is there someone that's consistently been at where you're at, meaning at the different tournaments, wherever else is, or someone sending you emails or on your Instagram, looking at those things? Because TaylorMade's Instagram is about, our clubs, our golfers, but we flag things that are, we'll say, general terms that people use. But I'm not into, we'll say, Tiger's social media. Be interesting to do that. Not to say Tiger doesn't have his own team doing that for him already, but looking at our other golfers out there and providing these services to them.
Whether or not they're performing at the top level of a golfing event somewhere in the world, or they're just working in a factory, whatever it is, if you can make people feel safe, they're going to perform for you much better. So it's a win-win for the organization. The person feels safe and they're more productive, and that means hopefully more profits and productivity.
I agree with that.
Well, what does an ideal security program look like to you? I know that's a big question we could probably spend the next half hour talking about, but high level.
Moving from a symmetric to an asymmetric thought process, looking at the insider that's here already or has a relationship with TaylorMade. I firmly believe I'm building within the team. And I heard this one quote: if you don't know people, you don't know business. And I firmly believe in that. And that's something I'm trying to incorporate here with the security program, is invest in our people so that they can help the different business partners here within TaylorMade. Again, another example that I have would be providing training for personnel and investing in them. One thing here at TaylorMade, one of the goals, like when I first walked in the door, was like first aid, medical, however you want to call it, is that we don't have a lot of that here. My goal is to get 25% of the personnel in all our buildings certified with basic CPR. This is a skill they can take home, a skill that you can use anywhere in the world, wherever they're at. And that's one of the things I look at, say, investing in personnel. So I've taken a little bit of my guys and put them in different certifications to get them to be able to train people. Where I'd want to take a security program is to give people the skills that they can use both at work and at home. With the workplace violence stuff, teach them skills or teach them things on how to assess people, not like a whole psychiatry thing, but just, hey, here's different indicators of someone having a real bad day or someone having a real bad month or a real bad life. These are little things that, hey, tell someone about it. If you're ever in an active shooter or in a very tense situation, these are places you can go. These are things you should look for. If you're getting confronted by someone that's just angry with you, these are some words you could use that can hopefully de-escalate the situation. We had an incident here probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago, where one of our employees was very unhappy with the supervisor and he quit on the spot. But as he quit, he was throwing stuff at him. HR calls me and they're like, hey, we have an issue over in this other part of the building. Can you go talk to him? Understood. So I grab one of my guards with me. I'm like, all right, while we're walking there, I'm telling him, all right, here's our plan. I go, you're going to have the radio on. And we're going to hit back to our main office every 4 or 5 minutes. If they don't hear from us, they're going to call us. Or if they don't hear from us in 7 minutes, they're calling the PD because we're incapacitated. I told him, I'm like, I don't want to get hit, but I'll take the first one. Make sure that he doesn't get a second one on me, all right?
Wow.
If he steps into it, I go, triangulate out different keywords. I go, if I use this word, that means you back away and get on the radio and we're calling PD immediately. So we put a comm plan in together, put an action plan in together, made sure other people outside the area knew what we were doing. So again, these are skills and traits that people can learn. And this is what I want to bring to the forefront here, not just with the security department, but with everyone, because we're going to be the ones reacting to it. We're going to be there either 4 or 5, 10 minutes later when someone could already be having a bad day. And lo and behold, this guy was just having a bad day. And, he cussed at me a little bit and I was a little persistent with him. Say, hey, it's not my fault. It's not your fault. Just a bad day. Luckily, nothing further happened. He went away without any further incident. So going, I guess, back to the main question, building a security program that works with its people, communicates with people, trains its personnel, and gives them the tools in order to do their job effectively. And then from there, share that with everyone else within TaylorMade, because it's not a secret. Hey, these are things that we're going to do. These are the steps we're going to take. So if people know what we're doing or what we're going to do in the future, it will help them understand what and how we're dealing with each incident.
Oh, I really like that a lot. It's like you're just trying to empower each individual with the things they need to know to have that muscle memory. So when they're confronted with whatever that thing is, they have the best chance of responding to it. And that's going to be different for like your second lieutenant that's got to deal with like take punches like you were just talking about, all the way down just the average employee that just needs to be ready in case like a tornado is coming their way. The more you can just empower them to deal with the things they're likely to be confronted with, the more likely they're going to have a better outcome. I mean, that's a great idea for a security program.
I like how you said the muscle memory. One of the things that I've said is, if you want to go run a marathon tomorrow, you're going to die. You're not going to get there.
Right.
You might get to 10 miles, you might get to 15, but I don't think if you do get to 26, you're not going to walk the next couple of days because you're not used to it. I look at training as a marathon. You got to consistently build up on it. And one thing I guess companies or security programs don't look at as training properly is that we do videos, PowerPoints once a year. I mean, in the Navy for 20 years, I did their CICT stuff, and it was the same PowerPoint, same web-based program. I knew the answers. It was number 3, number 2, number 5, number 6, and every year. And it was annoying. And what I wanted the Navy to do, or I guess things that I incorporated, was like, after we did that, we would have discussions about it amongst my command or my personnel saying, yeah, we did this video. I know it's a pain. I know we don't like it. It takes 3 hours of our lives. But we got to talk about it. Let's actually whiteboard this, roundtable, whatever you want to call it, of different scenarios. And that's something that I think needs to be done through every security program is that, you have the videos or the PowerPoints or the lectures, but then you follow up with discussions. That's where it gets a little dicey because companies are like, hey, if you're not at your desk, you're not working, what are you doing for us? Well, no, I look at this as an investment where talking about the different things that could occur here. What if you saw someone go down? What would you do? What if you saw someone come in that was angry? What would you do? Just the different scenarios that could happen on a day-to-day basis need to be discussed at least once a year with everyone in the building so that they have an idea, so that they understand what we're going to do and Barry, how you can help us get to where we want to get to.
Yeah, I've heard some people taking that to what they call micro trainings, where the security folks will just walk around. They'll go to the 5th floor of building X and just walk into a group of people at a cube farm and say, hey, this isn't happening right now, but let's say I just collapsed and started having a heart attack. What would you do?
Yeah, exactly.
It takes all about 2-3 minutes for people to go, oh my God, I don't know. Where's the defibrillator? Like, I don't know.
Most people just sit there and go, huh. Should I call 911? Do I want to call 911? It's one of those things where, until you're actually really in the moment, then you start moving through it. And the best way to do is just talk about it and get people not scared of these incidences or scared of the unknown, but better yet, hey, someone goes down. ABCs, quick thing, airway, breathing, circulation. the person not breathing, try to make them breathe. Call
Hmm.
911. All these different little things, that different little tools, just little, like you said, the micro train. I believe in that. And then, like I said, follow it up with discussions with 10, 15 people, because I need more than that. Not everyone's going to participate, but you can zero in on 10 people. Everyone will contribute in a 30, 40-minute conversation that way.
Based on your experience, what are some other areas of safety or security that organizations tend to overlook?
The training part, I think, is one. I think the other part is that they believe that cameras and access control is everything that you need. Cameras are very high speed, low drag now. The analytics on them, they can alert you to different things that are occurring around your sites or your complexes. Access control, same thing. If someone goes somewhere they're not supposed to, but the letdown or setback with that is that if you don't tell people what they can do, or better yet, train them on what they can do, or let them know what these tools can do for you, then it doesn't do us any good. Because I mean, every company has people that, one person badges in and 10 people walk in behind them. Well, hold on a second here. Why do we do that? Well, this is why we do it at TaylorMade. Because if we have a fire here, an earthquake, another major emergency, we can pull our badge report like that within an instant, and I can tell you who's in my building. But if you don't scan in, well, then I have 200 people, but I actually have 220 people in. I'm going to count for 20 people that possibly are here or not here. So you got to
Mm.
explain the why to them. So that's, again, going back to the training part, is that why do we do this? Well, this is why we do it. Bringing people in and letting them understand what the camera can do, letting them understand what the access control does. It's only as good as the people that are using it, or how we're applying it. That's where I think a lot of the security programs fall short on. It's like, well, we have all this up, we have all this technology. Well, that's great. Did you train your people on how to do it? Because here at TaylorMade, we've got vendor and TaylorMade personnel, and my constant is like, are we training these people how to do these things? Are we training them how to look at these things? And it gets a little annoying to a degree, but at the same time, they know what they're doing and they know what they're looking at, and we make sure that they understand what it is and how it is that their job is here.
Yeah, I'm glad you laid it out like that because I think a lot of organizations focus too much on the what. They put together a big old fat manual of what in a
Yeah,
process, and then they don't do the harder explanation of the why or the even harder constant reinforcement training. And those things are just so important.
yeah, I agree.
Well, can you describe a particularly challenging situation that you faced in the past and how your team resolved it?
A constant thing here is just contending with the day to day, and either documenting it or how we engage it, and just figuring out what the role of security is here. Because I've been here since October, and I've been pretty much on a receive mode since then. But I'm starting to move into, we'll say, I'm putting stuff out now. I want to start doing things with these guys. And I think 9 months, 10 months, however long it's been, is adequate enough time. So where I'm trying to get the program to, or trying to move us to, is be much more integrated with our business partners. Hey, if my guys can help you, great, let me know. Both with the PGA guys, hey, when people come here, let's get us driving. Let's get us helping your personnel out here. When we have events here, making sure the setup is done, making sure everything's taken down properly, making sure that it moves as smoothly as possible when you come here to TaylorMade. Because I'm not sure if you know it, but we have a location called the Kingdom. I call it the most high speed driving range a person can ever go to. Everything about golf we can track at the Kingdom. And we have people come here from all over the world because they want to improve their golf game. Helping those guys out, making it very fluid to come here and visit, that is one of the things I like to get done as well. Because right now we have a couple issues with our visitor management, working through that right now. Again, with the cameras, everything else, letting them know that, hey, once you step on TaylorMade property, you're safe. Don't worry about it. You may have a team of your own guys, but hey, this is what we're going to provide you. Those are some of the things that I'm trying to move us into.
Yeah, it seems like if security is done right, it's so well planned, thought out, and then executed that people don't even really notice it. And when they don't notice it, again, they can be more productive. They just feel safer.
Yeah, again, it goes back to just informing them of things. Like, one of the things I really, not say enjoy, but I like about the new workplace violence law is that we have to tell you about this. We have to tell you that, hey, we're documenting this way. This is how we're going to do our investigations. And any team member here, employee, person, can come up and ask me like, hey, I want to look at this. I'm like, all right, give me a couple minutes, I'll get it to you. But it empowers people to know what's going on with the company from that point of view, and we have to provide it. It's holding us accountable, and that's one of the biggest things I firmly believe in, is being accountable. Hey, just because I say I'm here, does it really mean I'm here? No, here's the accountability, and it goes both ways. Hey, here's the program. This is everything that supports the program, from the documentation to the video to how we do our investigations and the follow up on it. What did we learn? And this is now the new safeguard that we put in place after learning from this said incident.
Yeah, that's very valuable. Bidirectional communication, letting people know what's going on and telling them what you did to make it better the next time is very effective.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, as we start to wrap up here, what key trends or perhaps changes do you foresee in the corporate safety and security industry out there over the next 5 years or so?
Well, technology is just getting better and better every day, every year. AI is coming out, cameras got AI in them, analytics in them, access control has all that. It can tell me everything that's going on with my location. But what I don't want to happen is this move away from people. Because again, without people, you don't know what's going on. Like just another quick example, one of my guys came into me today. He's like, "Hey, Lewis, I'm sorry for being a jerk last week." I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I figured you were just having a bad week. Everyone's in tune to a bad week." But the best part was like 3 or 4 other guys came up to me like, "Hey, Billy over here he's in a mood. Hey, that's good. You're picking up on it. He's not doing what Billy normally does. So we care about him." And even this morning when I was talking to, his name's not Billy, but he's an
Yeah.
example. When I was talking to Billy, I'm like, "Yeah, I picked up on it. I appreciate you apologizing, but I figured you were just having a bad week. And it's okay. We all have bad weeks, bad days, bad months." I go, "If it kept on going, I would have sat you down and said, 'Hey, what's going on? Well, how can I help you? Is it the wife, girlfriend, dog? What is it? How do we help you? Do you need a day off from here? Or is it just you need to talk about it for a couple minutes?'" That's the thing that I think security programs need to, or say programs in general, is that they need to be much more in tune with people and knowing we'll say their daily habits or how they daily interact with people. And when it varies, because everyone has a bad day. I get that. I had a bad day last week too. I was talking to my colleague about it, and he could tell. He's like, "What's going on with you?" These are the things that are important. It's like, hey, if that bad day turns into a week, turns into a month, turns into 2 months, now you're setting a pattern. How do we help this individual? How do we get this guy better? It was just dumb luck. In one of my prior positions, I was up in Seattle on a business trip, and one of the individuals there, he was in the National Guard, and he told someone that he was put on a psych hold for the weekend
Hmm.
because he was doing his duty. And I'm like, just dumb luck I was there. And they're like, "Hey, Lewis, do you mind talking to Billy over here?" I'm like, "What's going on with Billy?" "Well, he just said he was put on a psych hold, and we're kind of concerned." So I go in there and say, "Hey, I'm a Navy guy or former Navy guy. Let's talk." Ask some key questions without them like being alerting, like, "Hey, do you have a weapon at home?" Or, "Hey, you like guns?" "Yeah, I like guns." "What type of gun do you got?"
Uh,
"Well, I got this and that and this." I'm like, "Those are pretty nice weapons." So I write it down. He's got access to handguns. All right, check. "Who are your friends here? Who don't you like here?" Things like that, just picking up on things. Ended up talking to him, talking to his supervisor, a couple of others, buddies, and let him know, like, "Hey, just keep an eye on him." It ended up where he was just having a bad day in the National Guard, and his senior enlisted guys, he popped off, and these were the answers. And then he popped off some more, thinking he would get more of a reaction, and he got the reaction he was looking for. So
mhm.
again, the biggest thing is just putting people into play that want to be there, teaching them, giving them the tools, and investing in them.
Yeah, I love your approach that it's great to have policies and plans to be your North Star. It's something you can shoot for, but ultimately it all comes down to the groundwork of just learning how to deal with people.
Definitely, especially in security, because people have good days or bad days, and you're the one that has to go contend with the individual.
Without a doubt. Well, Lewis, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. It's been a good conversation.
To learn more about Lewis and his work with TaylorMade, click the links in the show notes. For video highlights from today's episode, just search for Alert Media on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever you get your podcasts. Stay safe out there.
Thank you for listening to the Employee Safety Podcast from Alert Media, the industry's most intuitive emergency communication and threat intelligence solution. To learn more about how to protect your people and business during critical events, visit alertmedia.com. Until next time.